Electrocast. Introducing Royal Caribbean's newest ship, Icon of the Seas, the ultimate family vacation. The ultimate 6 slides, 8 neighborhoods, 0 compromise vacation. The ultimate never done that, can't wait to do it vacation. The ultimate chillin' by a different pool every day of the week vacation. This is the Icon of Vacations. Icon of the Seas, arriving in 2024. Book today. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
Welcome to the next edition of Missing the Point. I am Hollywood Rayshon Buchanan with my guy, the real BK. Buck Kelly, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm good, man. It's time again. It's time. I'm pumped, bro. I'm pumped. I'm ready.
Right. So for those that have been listening from the beginning, we say thank you. Around this time last year is when we really started to take off because y'all really was rocking with our Celtics content. So, we, like I said, like Bobby said, it's that time again. It's that time of the year. It's showtime. So I am excited. I'll be there in the building once again for Game 1. So you have.
I love how you got a job specifically so you could just be in the building every night. I know that's not like the exact reason, but like, bro, that's part of the reason. It's fucking dope. You're like, what? I just want to feel that atmosphere every goddamn night. So let me just get a job there, and then that'll take care of that. And it's been great for us too. But
right. No, for sure. Listen, a quick aside to that, I got to thank this guy Justin Coleman. Like, Justin, you have set me up and set this show up for success because you approached me and said, "Hey, do you need another job?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?"
Shout out, bro.
Sure. So shout out to you, Justin. You made an appearance on the show finally. So yeah, we appreciate you, man. So yeah, let's get right into it. We're talking all things Celtics. They are facing the Atlanta Hawks, who are the 7th seed after defeating the Miami Heat 116-105 on Tuesday night. So just what are your thoughts on this team? Because obviously they've been up and down. I think their record was 41-41. So just what are your thoughts on them? And were you happy that it was Atlanta that we're facing instead of Miami?
I would have been until I watched Miami play, and that's not a good basketball team right now, bro. They can't score. They don't play defense. So I mean, Miami's doing a whole lot of nothing so far this year. Like I said to Craig, if Jimmy Butler's not scoring 30 to 40 points, Miami's not winning. Like that's where that team's at right now. The Hawks, though, man, they're such an up and down team that like you don't know what squad is going to show up night to night. So I feel like a couple of these games are going to be close, but they just don't have what the Celtics have, and that the experience. First of all, I know they made one Eastern Conference Finals trip, but that was a couple of years ago. It was kind of a fluke, it seems like. And just the talent level is just a different level. I feel like they have Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, John Collins, Saddiq Bey off the bench, which I forgot about until the other night. But I just feel like in every aspect we match up better than them. Maybe they have a little bit of an advantage in the guard play, maybe with DeJounte over Marcus Smart. I feel like that's kind of a toss-up. They're both definitely in like the top 10 to 15. But I just feel like we're going to run on them and they can't stop us is really what the moral of the story is going to be of this entire series. Is they're not going to be able to stop us. So I hope it's not just a bunch of shootouts because I kind of want to see the Celtics play some goddamn defense. But I feel like there is going to be a few of those games. It's like 130-120, 140-130. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be a few shootouts in this series for sure.
Yeah, I mean, listen, honestly, do I want defense? Sure, but would I be upset with a 121-115?
No, I'm cool with it, bro.
At the end of the day, like I just want score more points than the other team. That's where I'm at, right? So, like I said, for those that's listening, like I said, we're gonna get into we're gonna get to the Celtics last because obviously we're gonna have more things to kind of get into. But we want to just set the table, and just kind of talk about what Atlanta either brings to the table, or things they need to work on, for the series. So just they're not the 3-point shooting team that I think people think they are. I think a few years ago they were
even Trae doesn't shoot as many threes as he used to, man, and it's different. I don't know. It's definitely a different game than they used to play. You're right.
Yeah, no, he's like I said, he's elite with drawing fouls. He's elite with his playmaking skills. So just from the few games that you've seen from him, because obviously we were watching them closely every night. But we watch enough to know what they do well and don't do well. So just what do you think going into the series, that they do well that gives you some reason to be concerned?
Um, they can score. That's really it. You know what I mean? That on any given night, they can put up 130 points. No doubt about it. I mean, you saw it against Atlanta, against Miami, where, they took off in that third quarter. Miami tried making run after run, and Atlanta wouldn't let it happen. So, I mean, if Trae Young gets hot and DeJounte Murray gets hot, you know what I mean? Those are two elite guard scorers in the NBA. So, on any given night, they can beat you. Those two alone. John Collins is solid. He's the best size in the NBA, by the way. I noticed that the other night. That dude wears those 1970s shorts, bro. He's about to fall out of those. You're like, bro, don't do the two-hander. Don't throw that down. Come on. I don't need to see that.
And B found out a few years ago.
Bro, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
I was like, ooh.
I mean, and DeAndre Hunter's pretty good too. So I mean, they definitely have a squad. I just feel like what they don't do is respond well to adversity. I've seen a lot of games. I've seen a few Atlanta games this year. I've league pass. So, whenever I actually get a second from the chaos that is having two children under two, I've watched a Hawk game or two. And if you punch them in the mouth, they don't respond. It seems like especially Trae Young. I feel like he's kind of soft and he's kind of weak. He's a great ball player. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's a one. I think that's established at this point. Because when you look at Atlanta, what stands out to me is like you've seen them, like you said, they've morphed identities like 2 or 3 times since they've had Trae Young. They were that 3-point shooting team when they had when they made that finals run, and now they've kind of morphed into like a run and gun type team, I guess, where Trae's kind of the point guard. He gets like, what does he average, 9-10 assists a night? So it's definitely a different squad. I just don't know if Trae's the guy that is going to be able to lead you to a 7-game series against elite talent like the Celtics have, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the hope. I think, it's weird, right? Because obviously, him and Luka are forever linked because they were in the same draft. And
bro, that was a fleece. That was not an even trade.
Yeah, I mean, people say that, but it's just like, once again, regardless of the seeding, Trae's going to the playoffs and Luka's chilling at the crib.
I mean, that's not right. That's not
right. Yeah. So it's not, so that's part of it. But I think, John, we talked about his style, but let's talk about his play. John Collins is someone to me who needs to change his scenery eventually.
Yeah. He needs to get out of there.
Yeah, I'm hoping he doesn't grow up this series, because if he does, then it's going to be a little more interesting than it should be. And I want people to hear this clearly, because people are going to say, "Oh, don't bring him up." So Trae Young and John Collins should be a modern day Stockton and Malone. And once again, on the court, I'm not talking about anything that happened off the court, what they believe in, what they've done. That's on the court. They should be Stockton and Malone. They should be just like when we saw a couple years ago against Philadelphia. They would pick and roll you to death with those two, and you're not jumping with John Collins. I mean, luckily we have a Time Lord that can jump with John Collins, but most times you're not jumping with John Collins, and you're going to end up on a poster. So it's weird that they don't run that action a whole lot.
Who's the coach down there now? They changed coaches mid-season, didn't they?
It's Quin Snyder now. So
Quin Snyder, right?
Nathan Miller had been down there. Obviously, early in Trae's career, it was Lloyd Pierce. And then I think Nathan Miller took over. So they've had a lot of changing faces.
That's what I mean, bro. They've changed the identity of that squad a few times because of Trae. And listen, I loved Trae at Oklahoma. I'm a big March Madness guy, so I loved Trae at Oklahoma. I picked him to go to the finals that year, the Final Four. Like, I wanted him in Boston, bro. I love Trae. I don't think you can't build the squad around him to make a deep NBA Finals run. I just don't. I don't see it. I just don't. You know what I mean? The defense isn't there. That's what when it comes down to it, man. you got to be able to stop one of the best players in the NBA. If you're going to win an NBA championship, you don't even you have to have the ability to make them think twice, to make them have to give that little extra effort. So when it gets to that fucking game 7, like the Celtics did to Giannis, he's cooked. Yeah. You know what I mean? We didn't stop him once that entire series, but we did enough to him. You know what I mean? So I just don't. The Hawks to me just don't have that.
Well, to be fair, I mean, we all know who Trae Young's comp has been since he's been in the league, and it's that guy in Golden State, Steph Curry. Steph Curry's never known to be a stop.
Trae can't shoot like Steph.
No. I'm saying just from the defensive side, right? Like,
yeah.
You have to surround, like they surrounded Steph Curry with Clay was a really good on ball defender before he got hurt.
Wiggins,
Wiggins now, so they've been able to hide the flaws on defense because of what's around them. But they had those pieces in Atlanta because the guy that was, I don't know if you saw the GM, I forget his name, but the GM that was there in Golden State came over to Atlanta and he drafted Kevin Huerter I think the year after, because he wanted Huerter and Young to be a version of what Steph and Clay were. And it just never came together. But I told people about Kevin Huerter. I said this guy eventually.
Bro, Huerter's solid, man.
He's been very good at Sacramento. He's been killing it. Kudos to them for making their run. Like I said,
it's funny you bring Huerter up because I was listening to something that like this week about them, and it feels like they would have been better off. I love DeJounte Murray, right? I think he's awesome. They would have been better off just keeping Huerter at this point because the price that they paid for DeJounte, in my opinion, I don't think the team is affected and is as how can I word this? Is as good as
it should have been.
Right, exactly. They're not as I can't word this right. They're not better than they were last year. You know what I mean? They're not that much better than they were last year.
Or even the year before.
And
but
you gave away 3 first-round picks for DeJounte, and you traded
3 and Gallinari. I mean,
right?
I mean,
but then you also trade Huerter for what? I think they got a first-round pick for him, a second-round pick.
Yeah, was it Bogdanovich was already there. I'm not sure.
It was just
he might have been the deal, but yeah, I understand, especially with the season that Kevin Huerter's had in Sacramento. Like you would like to see what he would have done with another year next to Trae Young on their starting.
They got Justin Holiday, Harkless, and a protected first.
Okay, so a fringe rotation piece and 2 other people that not really gonna really make the rotation. Okay, cool. So yeah, I mean, I guess that lets you know what they kind of thought of where he was at, or not really looking to give him an extension. Because I think Sacramento paid him right after he signed over there, so maybe that was their favor to him. But
I think they were looking more to the future. Like we got a pair because DeJounte's elite defense, right? That's.
I mean,
supposedly, quote unquote.
He is an elite defender.
Elite guard defender, right?
You can't play in San Antonio if you're not an elite defender. Regardless of what their record is like.
So
you can't be on that team.
I'm thinking that's probably what their mind. We're gonna pair Trae with this defensive stopper guard and be able to take that other guard out and let Trae just chill. You know what I mean? And it's just
exactly. And so that's what's happened. Once again, DeAndre Hunter, another guy, came out of UVA.
Hunter,
yeah, exactly. But he's another guy that's kind of been he's been up and down as well. So once again, we talked about we'll get into what we want to expose with them in the series, but Hunter and Collins are 2 guys that once again, I'm hoping they don't grow up in this series, because if they do, it's going to make the series a lot more interesting. Once again, Hunter was a top 10 pick. Collins, I think, he was in the same draft as Tatum, I believe.
Collins has been
he's been around.
A solid dude for 4 or 5 years now. I've never heard someone mention more trade rumors in my life than him and Miles Turner. Those two together, man.
Yeah, so I just feel like, but to me, well, speaking of them, like they both in the chance here, like we mentioned. To me, it's just a matter of time before it happens. So like I said, we talked a little bit about what they do well, as far as how they move the ball, how they can score, but just what do you want to see get exposed on the Hawks team? So it's like, what do you think the Celtics can do to expose them in the first round series? I think if we take our time against this defense, we can pick them apart, and next thing you know, they're talking to each other in the huddle. Maybe we have a Rudy Gobert, Kyle Anderson type situation when someone gets knocked out on the bench.
Actually, I want to. That's a good. I want to talk about that real quick too. So that whole thing, bro, it's so funny because that's literally now the worst trade in the history of the NBA, right? That's got to be. It's the worst, and it's so funny because he's such a defensive stopper. But the reason that all happened is because he fucking got his ass kicked on defense. The whole thing is just ridiculous.
Yeah, insane.
But yeah, so we're good. So the thing that we have to expose, exactly what you just said, bro, the defense. It's a glaring weakness of this team. I'm trying to pull up where they are in the rankings right now, but I know it's bottom third of the NBA.
Definitely bottom half. Which is why I think they went after Quin Snyder. I think Quin Snyder had very good defenses in Utah. Once again, Gobert ironically was the anchor, for those defenses. Capella is not Gobert. He's not. He rebounds well, but he's not.
That's all he does.
Yeah, it's all he does is rebound. So, I just wonder who they end up going at. For me, I'd go at John Collins a lot. I'd put him in a lot of actions. I think that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum should be running pick and rolls nonstop. Non-fucking stop, 100%. And then you let them make the decision. So whether it's Al in the corner, Rob for the dunk underneath, Brogdon or Hauser, whoever's in the corner, like just space out, have someone underneath to get the rebound if possible. And I think it's going to be a very long night. And yes, is it tedious? It's going to be boring at times, absolutely. But it is not a time or a place to be bored with the process. Go at them continuously until they make an adjustment. And if they don't make an adjustment, which, once again, Chris is a very good coach, so he could, but I also think that he also came too late in the season to really put his stamp on what this team can be and will be going into the next season. So, yeah, I'd like to say go at Collins, go at Trae, obviously because of his size. He's gonna have to be on. Maybe they put him on Rob. I'm throwing lobs to Rob all day. Once again, they're not gonna call him Trae every time because he's a star, but you might get two on him right away and then he has to sit. So it's worth it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think the Celtics guards have to attract whoever Trae is on. That guard has to attack, whether it be Brogdon, whether it be Smart. That's the key right there. Because, like we said, DeJounte's an elite defender. So he's going to take one of your guards out of the game. So you got to figure out how to get one of those other guys going. Because we know what Tatum and Brown are going to do. You know what I mean? We know what they're going to do. But to take this series in stifling fashion like we expect them to, someone else has to do something. One of those guards has to go off, whether it be Brogdon, Smart. Who am I missing right there?
Derek White.
Derek White, thank you. Whether it be Derek White. And then also, you got to get something out of those bigs, too. Whether it be Horford or whether it be Grant, one of those two guys has to show up and give you something, because if not, like you said, John Collins is going to be able to, he's going to dominate you on offense down low, because that's been the Celtics' backbreaker, is when one of those guys doesn't show up and Rob's not playing, Rob's been hurt. That down low defense, man, has been just what's been killing the Celtics. Like, look at Embiid the other night against Philly. You know what I mean? Would he drop 53 that game? So come on.
Yeah, but also, they won by 2. I just feel like if
that's true. They had everything they had.
Just let if you just let them exhaust themselves, and then you find a way to just kind of stay around. But yeah, so like I said, we'll see what happens with that. But obviously, we talked about Trae Young a little bit here so far. He's clearly a star. He's definitely the guy that makes that team go. what would you say? How would you look to stop him or at least limit his success? In the series.
Well, what Atlanta does well is they get up and go. You know what I mean? They move. They run. And they have the perfect offense for that because they have Trae, they have DeJounte, even Capella can stretch the floor. You know what I mean? Like, so they have these dudes that can run the floor, and it's just a matter of I think the Celtics have the best transition game in the NBA. So, you match strength with strength at that point, and then you just get out and stop that transition defense, man. You got to stop that transition. If you don't, that's when the Celtics could see themselves behind on an 11-0 run. You know what I mean? That's what the Hawks do to you is they go on these elongated runs and they just run you to death. So if you can stop that transition offense of the Hawks, I think their pace of play is like top 5 in the NBA. One of the only teams ahead of them is the Boston Celtics. So that's why I said, I think there is going to be a game where it's just up and down basketball where we're seeing 130 to 120, where it's just going to be run. But there's also going to be one of those games where it is a half court pace, where the pace does slow down and the Celtics get them to play their game. And when that happens, the Celtics have such a significant advantage. It's night and day the advantage the Celtics will have in that half court defense and half court offense. I know it can get stagnant at times, but it's night and day, man. It really is, because the options you have with the driving kicks, the options that you have with, those two elite, at the rim guys with Jaylen and Tatum. You know what I mean? There's just so many different levels the Celtics have in that half court that the Hawks just don't. What's the Hawks' most efficient offensive play? A Trae 3? You know what I mean? A Trae step back somewhere, a John Collins post up. Like the difference is just apples and oranges. You know what I mean? It's
yeah. I mean, they don't have any. Well, from what I've seen, there's not an automatic play that they have.
It's just they just run set after set to try and get someone open. Lots of ball screen.
Right, but the automatic should be that pick and roll. That's what I'm saying. Like, it should be the pick and roll to Collins. Because once again, he can go upstairs, or he can go, as my dad would say, he can go to the penthouse suite. Like he can go to the top floor, and not many will meet him there. So we have to watch out for that. So last thing on the Hawks before we jump into what the Celtics are going to do, and we believe the Celtics are going to do in the series. So who do you think serves as Atlanta's X factor? Because I think we brought up a few names already, but just who do you think serves as the X factor for them in the series?
I'm going to go Clint Capella because of what a monster he can be on the boards and what a backbreaker that can be for the Celtics at times. Because the Celtics can play great defense, but if you're giving up, what was it last year in the playoffs? At one point, like 16 offensive rebounds, shit don't matter, man. Your defense doesn't matter if they're getting second opportunity after second opportunity after, because then you just need to make another stop, and it doesn't matter what you're doing. That'll kill you every time. So I think that is a big thing that we have to watch. If Capella is causing problems on that offensive glass, I think that's something that could really cause the Celtics some problems. I don't see it happening. I don't, because for that to happen, they need to actually let that start to happen. So I don't know. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Right. But, I'm gonna go with Saddiq Bey.
Ooh, I like that. I like that one.
I think that he is someone that enjoys playing the Celtics.
That's true. That's true.
I think that he looks at that green uniform and green and white and says, "Okay, it is go time."
What is it? We used to with Detroit, bro. He killed us. Didn't he score 50 on us once?
No, not on us, but he did score 50 last year in the game. So and when we did a show a few years ago when he got drafted, I remember I said I thought Detroit won draft that a couple years ago with him, Isaiah Stewart, and Killian Hayes. So yeah, I was surprised that Detroit gave up on him this early. Once again, maybe they just thought maybe we won't have the funds to pay. I don't know, but like that, the fact that he was out there on the market and we could have gave him for fucking Grant Williams. But I mean, it's okay. Like I'm not gonna I'm not gonna. You guys stated eloquently why he's not that guy in our previous episode. So I don't have to go back down that road. But yeah, I think Saddiq Bey is someone that I would look out for. I think that he is someone that once again he's not going to shy away in the moment. And in his first full season, I can see him having some very big moments. And it's ironic that he wears James Posey's number, because that's what he kind of reminds me of. But he's a little better offensively than James Posey was, but that he's in that mold. So I think that's someone that, like I said,
no one's better than James Posey was offensively, bro. Come on, let's put some respect on my boy's name here. All right, there is no one.
You know what I'm saying? That I mean, listen,
James fucking Posey.
The corner threes were huge. Offensive rebounds he made in that 08 run. But once again,
he was on my all-time Celtics team. Remember?
Yeah, no, yeah, that's true. He was. But no, I said, just to give some objective insight here. But no,
I got you.
But no, those are two names for sure that we need to look out for. So let's jump into the Celtics. So yes, for the second year in a row, we are a 2 seed. I think we were coming in having different thoughts about them being a 2 seed this year because of how they started the season, and regardless of what it looked like, they got the job done when they needed to. They secured the 2 seed, and now as obviously they're going to be at home for at least the first 2 rounds if they continue. So just obviously there's things that infuriate us sometimes as fans, as far as the shot selection or when they're moving the ball or not moving the ball. So just what new wrinkle or wrinkles, to make it plural, would you want to see, whether it be on offense or defense, coming into the series?
So I'm not just looking for, so there's nothing specifically in offense or defense I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is the Celtics of the end of last year. I want that team back. I want the team that said, we ain't afraid of no smoke. I want that squad that comes out and shows us that they're ready for this run, bro. Like you see glimpses of it down the stretch, but it's not there. You know what I mean? Like going into this final stretch last year, bro. I don't know if you remember. Like I was like, we're gonna sweep the Nets. We're gonna fucking kill them. Like there was no doubt in my mind that this team was gonna show up because of how they played down the stretch and what we see them do in those big moments when shit was on the line, dude. That team was fucking unstoppable last year. That no one was scoring on them. Literally, not a single fucking team could score on that team. I want to see that squad in this first round. That's what I'm looking for. Is that fucking cutthroat mentality. When you're up 19 in 5 minutes, be up by 31. Not let them get back down to 11. You know what I mean? That's the shit I want to see in this series. Because listen, you're better than the Hawks. Can they steal a game? Fine. If you win in 5, I'm still happy. You know what I mean? They can steal a game. I don't care. In those wins, I want to see you be the better fucking basketball team that you are. I want to see that squad again. That's what I want.
Yeah, no, I mean, once again, totally understandable. Those that will listen to this when it drops, I think will totally understand and agree with that sentiment wholeheartedly. So yes, tangibly, yes, like to see intangible, right? Yes, we need to see the effort. The effort needs to be there.
That's what the defense. Because listen, the defense. The defense isn't. It's clear. This team can play the defense. You've seen them do it. We've literally saw it. So it's like, bro.
Yep. I mean, they
know
still
you can do it, guys. We know you can do it. I know they were, which was crazy to me.
I mean, I think it's because of just the certain losses that stick out in our head make you forget that they were still top 5. And once again, when they need to shut you down for a few moments, they do. So it's just like, so whether it's Brogdon or White, Brogdon or Smart, once again, there was still a lot of pieces that were being missed in that time. But to answer the question that I posed, I want to see more work from Tatum out the mid post. Like that's where I'm at. Like, and I talked about it on the previous episode about some things that would just be something we'll see in the playoffs. So I want to bring that home. I want to reiterate that. Like I think seeing him in the mid post is really a thing of beauty. I think that he makes the best decision 9 times out of 10. And most teams are gonna play zone against us because of how we do shoot the three. So the zone buster is you send that pick, put the guy in the middle. It should be Tatum, and then let him either drive to the basket, and then once you see Collins or Capella or DeAndre Hunter, move up where they come off their man, it's you pass to the corner, you pass to the other corner, or you're going up for the lob, or you go for the layup if you have that space there. So, just to make sure you have as many options as possible, from that action. I want to see more of that. I call the JJ Redick play. Tatum and Brown can set the screen for Sam Hauser. Sam Hauser comes off that curl and shoots at the top of the key. Excuse me. I think that would be another thing I want to see on a regular basis. I feel like that's something that him and even Mazzulla can run too. I didn't think that Mazzulla could run off picks to shoot it, but he
definitely can, bro. He definitely can.
Yeah, no, yeah. He showed me something in that final regular season game against Atlanta. So yeah, like I'm excited to see what they do there. And then I actually want to see Marcus Smart guard Trae Young 1-on-1. Don't bring the help.
You want to see the Marcus? You want to see Marcus?
You earned the fifth player of the year. You earned being a dog. Like I want to see you guard Trae 1-on-1. Once again, don't ask for help. Don't come off nothing. Don't go under a screen. Because once again, he's gonna get 50 if that's the case. If you go under the screen, he's gonna get 50. I'm telling you that right now.
You think they'd learn from Golden State last year?
But I'm like, he's in. And I know you said that he's not Steph. He doesn't have to be. He can get hot with the best of them, and
he can for sure.
So I'd rather not see that.
Well, that's how they win it. That's how they win a game.
Right,
that's how they get a game in this series. Is Trae scores 50. That's literally it. I mean, Collins can go off. All these things can happen. Yeah. If Trae doesn't score 40 to 50, they're not going to win against the Celtics team. In my opinion.
Right. No. Correct. That's and once again, as a fan, I'd like to see him get 45. As a fan,
I love Trae. I love playing with him in 2K.
But like I said, as a Celtics fan first. It's like, yo, do whatever you can to slow them down. Period.
It's. I feel like the Celtics match up so well against the Hawks because of the elite defenders we have at that guard position and how easy Trae is to knock off his game. Like I said earlier, like that's their crutch is like Trae can and the whole Hawks team can shoot 45 to 50% from three on any given night for sure. They can. There's no doubt about it. Trae will score 40. The rest of them will be shooting lights out. But they also can go 8 for 40 just as easily. You know what I mean? Like,
there's no in between for sure.
If they start missing, bro, they start missing. And that's what the Celtics have to do to them is they have to get in their face. We got to see that. Because I'm not going to I was a little disappointed with Marcus Smart this year. I know he was in a different role. He doesn't have as much shine because of the Brogdon deal, because he was hurt for a little while, and he was coming back from. He doesn't have that glimmer that he had last year. I kind of want to see that in this series, like you said. I want to see him shut that motherfucker down to the point where Trae. We see the Trae that ran what's his name out of town. I want to see that Trae in this series where he's over on the bench throwing a towel, throwing a fucking hissy fit, doing that Trae thing. We don't want to see given that negative reputation, right? We don't want to see next Trae.
It's quiet as fuck. Yeah, we don't. I will say just to give them to give that team credit, because most of that team is still there now. They rose to the occasion because Madison Square Garden is not an easy place to play.
They don't play like that anymore, though. They're different.
Right. But I'm saying it's there though. Is what I'm saying. So I'm saying
it is. You're right.
You limit that moment because once again, as soon as he turns it on, I put it like this, where because you said about knocking him off his game, because that's true. But if he's locked in, like he was against New York and then against Philly and then Milwaukee before end up losing that series, like that's when he starts talking. He's doing the shimmy. And
Can't let him do that.
You don't want any of that.
And that power transfers to DeJounte too. I don't know if you've seen them. So a couple times this year, Trae will get hot, and if DeJounte gets hot too, because that's also another thing Celtics need to do is make DeJounte shoot. DeJounte he's a Marcus Smart prototype. That's how I look at DeJounte. He's a little bit better at the rim than Marcus Smart is, but that same prototype where it's if you're forcing him to shoot 3-pointers, that's what you want from DeJounte, because I think he's like 33. He's in the 30s somewhere.
Yeah,
from 3. Yeah. And that's but the thing is though, is it's like a force power where when Trae gets hot, DeJounte will get hot too, and then you have to fade over towards Trae, and then DeJounte has more lanes to the basket. So that's why it's so key for the Celtics to shut down Trae, and in turn that should help shut down DeJounte, because you're going to be forcing him into forcing the issue and shooting jump shots and doing what DeJounte is not comfortable doing. So that's it right there.
No, for sure. So want to bring it back over to our side. Right before the end of the season, unfortunately, Jaylen Brown injured his hand.
That sucked.
Dude, why would you not have a brum? But that's a whole nother conversation for another day. Does the hand injury give you any concern for the series? Ready to go?
Hey, I don't know. I honestly don't, man, because you don't know until you see it with that type of stuff. Because when it comes to the hands and the wrist and things like that, you think they're good until they shoot a jumper, and you're like, oh, you know what I mean? You can usually tell pretty early. It was like Tatum when he had that shit last year with that shoulder, where you're like, oh, he's good, and then he shot, and you were like, oh yeah, fuck. Because I'd never seen Jason Tatum shoot so many air balls in my entire life that he did at the end of last year. Have you seen him shoot one air ball all year long? One, not one. And he had 4 in the NBA Finals last year. So it's like you just know immediately. So I think we'll know quick if he's okay. But yeah, now I'm a little worried. I'm not gonna lie. Just because it's the hand, bro. And Jaylen's superpower is his at the rim play and his jump shooting and things that you need. You need your hands, bro. You do.
So I think we'll see more of. So and I said this on the show before, that turnaround jumper he has, I feel like he got from Gordon Hayward. I know people will say he got it on his own, but I'm like, if you watch Sabre Gordon Hayward pre-injury, that stop, pop, and turn around.
I was gonna say the 1 foot, foot.
That was Gordon Hayward's signature shot.
In Utah.
I'll tell you to talk to me about that, because I'm like, it's not an opinion, that's a fact. But anyways,
he was so good.
I think we see more of that shot. I think that we see more of him getting to the rim with his left hand instead. Because listen, as good as DeAndre Hunter is remember him from Game 2 last year, right? Exactly. As good as DeAndre Hunter is as a defender, if Jaylen wants to go left, he's going to go left. If he wants to go right, he's going to go right. So, is there concern? Sure, because with any injury, you want to make sure that you're not, further injuring it, and hence making it worse. So yeah, I do think that he'll be a little cautious, maybe Game 1. Actually, no, I'll flip that. I think he comes out firing Game 1 because the adrenaline is going to be crazy. It's Game 2 on Tuesday where you're going to be like, okay, is he okay? Is he good? But let's see what happens there. So, but yeah, like I said, there's not much concern. I would say on a scale of 1 to 100, it's like I'm like at a 15 or 20. Like I'm not like, oh my God, I think it's going to be, the detriment to him, like it was a few years ago when I think he got hurt right before the playoffs or hurt before, and it was just literally Tatum playing 1-on-5 against that Nets team. And I'm like, and remember I was saying, it was like, if we had both of them, we'd have
51. We scored 51 that one game. Yeah. That was so as depressing as that series was. That's when you knew Tatum arrived, though, because remember he showed up against Kevin Durant and didn't just show up and play well. He was better than Durant that night. That's when you knew. But yeah, no, 100%. I completely agree with you. Couldn't agree more. And I think it's funny that up until this point, 40 something minutes into this podcast, We literally haven't talked about what a mismatch the forwards are with the Celtics and the Hawks. It is unfair what a mismatch the Celtics have over the Hawks right now. It's Tatum and Brown versus DeAndre Hunter and John Collins. Bro, when the Celtics go with that small lineup and they just have, I think I don't know how much we're going to see that too big lineup this series, because when you have Tatum or Brown mashed up on John Collins, bro, it is he can't stay with either one of those two.
Yeah,
not even close, bro.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that's such a mismatch. I mean, DeAndre Hunter's a little bit better on the perimeter, but still that's also a mismatch. So I mean, the Celtics have to exploit this. So, like, especially in those first two games, like you said, because I think the key is to let Brown go off in those first two games, and then we'll see a lot more Grant rotating in. We'll see a lot more Hauser rotating in. We'll see a lot more of these dudes rotating in if we have that 2-game lead, you know?
Who's going to be the Mike Bibby, though? Who's going to make the Mike Bibby comment if we go up 2-0? Remember we was talking about, he's like, the fans ain't doing nothing. The fans ain't this. And then he was talking crazy, and next thing we got to Boston and just demolished them, whatever. Like, he was talking about how
I was at one of those Atlanta games, bro. That Garden,
crazy.
That shit was. We talked about this, right? You were there too, bro, where you couldn't. I've never been in a louder stadium in my entire life. Like, me and my buddy were next to each other, and we couldn't hear each other talk. It was That's why Al came here. That is why Al Horford is in Boston to this day, is because it's the only game we won that series, right? Did we lose in 5?
Or
6?
No, it's 6. Yeah, it's 2016. So yeah, 6. Yeah, but
that's why he's here.
Yeah, but I would say this may be the first time. Well, this might be the first time since 2012 that we had the advantage in the front court, because they've always been more athletic than us, regardless of their record.
Who, Atlanta?
Yeah, think about Josh Smith. Obviously a young Al Horford.
Josh Smith was a problem back in the day.
Was
just a problem.
A young Josh Childress.
Mr. Stanford. He's in what, China now, right? China.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so they always had the advantage.
He had the fro.
They was always younger, always more athletic. So I think, we finally, this is the first time in a decade or so, had that advantage there. And once again, the only time I think they beat us recently was in 2016 when they beat us 4-2. I think I got tickets for my mom to go to that game 4 when IT had dropped 42. And I was like, man, this dude is
King of the Fourth, bro. King of the Fourth.
It was
King of the Fourth.
I might go watch some highlights after we get out here.
I got IT.
Yeah, this was phenomenal.
I got IT on my 2K team. It was fucking awesome. I love IT.
Great. Yeah,
bro.
just awesome.
So
go ahead.
I have a question for you. So when we don't play that 2 big lineup, right? Who do you want to see out there? Because personally, I want Rob over Al in this series specifically, at least because of Capella. Capella's got length. He's long. And I just feel like Rob matches up better against him. And I hope.
How do you draw him out, though?
What do you mean?
So I'm saying Rob's not a threat to shoot.
That's true. That's true.
You take Capella out of the
paint. Yeah, that's true.
Oh.
No,
but go ahead.
I don't know. I feel like you're right, though. No, you're right. You're 100%. I was trying to, and
there's
you gotta get him out of the paint. That's how we beat. You're right.
Yeah, there's moments when Rob will be more effective. Like, I think honestly, I still want him off the bench. I still do. I still want Rob
100%. He's so effective.
I know they're not going to do it. Because
I think they might in the first round. I think Al starts. I think they go small. They start the small lineup.
As long as the rest of the playoffs, he Rob on the bench. That's just how I feel. Unless you run to Philly, like that's unless we're
gonna run into Philly.
Because like Brooklyn's not beating them. Brooklyn may get a game, maybe.
If Bridges and Cam go off, that's it.
Yeah, that's about it. So, to me, you got to draw Capello out. You got to make sure that he's you got to make sure that he's guarding somebody, because once again, he can just sit there and just be in the paint. I think we might see a Congo on their side a lot more too.
I was actually who else is there big? It's a Congo and
Capella and Dem is
Johnson. Johnson, is he big? No, he's just
might be. I'm not sure. So
Congo's pretty good though. He's not bad.
Yeah, well, I mean, Collins is considered a big two for them, but I mean, he's not someone he's not gonna block any shots at the rim, even though, which is wild, because to be 6'10" and to jump the way he jumps, like he should be punching.
Well, because they don't play him like that, and I think that's also something you got to take advantage of, where like they don't utilize John Collins in the way that John Collins should be utilized, and he attacked like you said, bro, attack that man, because they don't let him play the way that he could. Yeah. Letting him take those athletic, chances and things like that, like the Celtics do with Rob. You know what I mean? Rob is special because the Celtics let him be special, because we have Al playing that defense that he does, because we let Rob out of his cage at times, just like, bro, go block some goddamn shots, and Rob's like, fuck yeah, let's go. And it's just such a different machine.
I love the soundbite he had the other day too, when it was like, what did Joe say on the sideline? Joe says, score the fucking ball.
Bro, that's what I mean. We let him do his thing, bro.
No, but it's like we got to have like, he has to be at least a threat. Like, you don't have to shoot the 15-footer, but
imagine if he did. Imagine if Robert Williams had a 15 to 17-foot jumper, bro. He would be an all-star center every single year, right?
Yeah, just about. I mean, the guy I want him to work with actually they just played him in the playoffs last year. I would love him to work with LaMarcus Aldridge. I think that would be
just get that.
Yeah, that's that shot. Don't jump too much. I mean, even though
that
would be perfect. I think
LaMarcus jumper was deadly, bro. The 18-footer.
I would seek him out and say, okay, you would have mastered the mid range from for a long time. Can you come work with us? Because I think that would be. That would be another wrinkle, like we talked about earlier, of the offense. You're like, oh my god, like that would be insane there.
Can't work him too hard though, because if you do, then he might get some tension in his knees and get tendonitis, and then be out for 54 games.
You gotta move, just boom. LA can rebound from him.
I know.
That's about it. But you're not wrong. So
sick of his shit.
Right, before I get into the X Factor question, I want to talk a little bit about coaching, right? Because obviously,
you read my goddamn mind. Wow, that was good, bro. That was good. You read my mind.
I want to get into the coaching. Obviously, we've lamented on the show all year, mainly me, about Joe Mazzulla not being ready for this moment. Will he do this? Will he call a timeout? Will he call the right play? So just who has the coaching advantage here? And then just what do you want to see from our guy first before they advance in this round?
I think this is the perfect team for Joe Mazzulla to face for his first playoff matchup. Because if there's any team that has been coached for less games and for a less amount of time than the Celtics with Joe Mazzulla, it is the Atlanta Hawks with Quin Snyder. This is only his 23rd game as their coach. So this is the perfect setup, because he can fuck up when it comes to his rookie coaching mistakes and learn from that. But he knows his team better than Quin Snyder knows his team. You know what I mean? Right. He knows those in and outs better. So I feel like there is no one else that Joe Mazzulla at this point would have a coaching advantage over besides Quin Snyder going into this series. Like that's one of the reasons I was scared of the Heat, because Spoelstra, bro, you know what I mean? It would have been, we would have been dominated on the coaching front. In your first playoff series ever, going up against a dude who has won 3 NBA or won 3, been to 4, has made countless Eastern Conference Finals runs. Like, we would have been screwed on the coaching front. Been to 5, right? That's right. I forgot.
They beat us.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
5, yep.
They lost to the Lakers, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I forgot about that. Yeah. Bubble. But yeah, so this is the perfect matchup for Joe to kind of get his feet wet in this playoff thing, because I think there is going to be a point where he is going to have to make a critical substitution or a critical rotation piece or like something along the lines that we're going to notice that Joe made like a decision, and we'll see if it goes one way or the other. There's going to be a specific point where we're going to either see if he's growing and we're ready for this with him as our coach, or if that's something we need to watch throughout the rest of the playoffs. I guarantee you, within the first 2 games, we're going to be in that Discord, either being like, bro, we're good. Joe's got this, or we're going to be like, this is a problem going forward.
And I mean, it's all about, like I said, it's all about, because I'm assuming it'll be like a 8-man rotation off the bench. So I mean, it's so obviously.
So well, let's talk that out real quick. So yeah, Smart. Go ahead.
So Smart, Brown, Tatum, Rob, Al. So that's 5.
Yeah.
Then Brogdon, White, and then you're either rotating Grant, Hauser, or
Muscala.
Honestly, I the way Blake has played for us, I'd give Blake running the first.
Me too, bro. Me fucking too.
Absolutely.
I trust Blake and Muscala over Grant. I want to see them experiment with that a little more in that first round. If we can, if we go up 2-3-0, you know what I mean? I want to see a lot more of these dudes besides Grant. But yeah, I agree about an 8-man rotation. Maybe 9 on certain nights, but I think it's
on the road,
it's
I do 9 because someone's going to get in the foul trouble because the refs are going to call.
Who's spelling? I think we're in the same exact goddamn problem as we were last year, though, right? Tatum and Brown are going to have against the Bucks, against these teams. Tatum and Brown are going to have to play 40 goddamn minutes a night, bro, every single time.
Unless Gallo makes a surprise return,
it's frustrating, man. They're gonna have to do it again.
I guess. I mean, Hauser showed me enough. Because remember we talked about the beginning of the season, like we wondered if he was gonna be someone that could be a guy. He proved to me
he's a 15-minute guy. He can play 15.
Right, but that's more than enough because
that's true. That's true.
You don't want him playing 20-25, but you don't want Brown and Tatum playing 45 either. Like, at 38 to me is the sweet spot.
Yeah, I like 38. 38 sounds good.
37, 38.
41 too much.
41 on overtime, yeah, maybe, you know what I'm saying, but at the max. But yeah, 38 is the sweet spot. Even for Al, the sweet spot to me is like 34, 35 for him. Especially
I would even go lower. I would even go if you.
Well, I mean, obviously, ideally you want to play 30, but
yeah,
I mean,
30 sounds good.
It's 33 at the most, maybe, right? Same thing with Rob. Like you want him around 30 tops for Rob. 25 to 30 would be the sweet spot there. So, we'll see. But
what the sweet spot is for Grant?
No, but I mean, but we say that, but I'm like, what he did in the first round last year, if he resembles a little bit of that, right?
Yeah. Okay. Listen, if we get that Grant, if we get that Grant, that's fine. But
that's fine. Yeah.
If we get this motherfucker. Yeah, but if we get this motherfucker who goes, I'm gonna make both, and bro, that shit, you're not there, bro.
Now, I'm with you. I was done. I do love that he was able to poke fun at it because I think sometimes some players just kind of go into a spiral and take it.
Yeah, you fucking lost the game because of it, bro.
No, sure, but I'm like, I just think that the season wasn't over in that moment. And
yeah, I know. Okay,
myself and many others made it seem like the season was over, and that was ridiculous.
That's so unlike Celtics Twitter.
Yeah, no, of course.
Unlike Celtics Nation.
So it's just like, and you'll see it Saturday if the game starts at 3:30. Like if by 4:45, he's like after halftime, Atlanta 61, Boston 56. They're gonna say Atlanta at 5. Like that's just what it is. Like people are gonna overreact. I'm probably gonna go ballistic. I'll be there. I don't know where they're gonna have me at yet.
You're gonna be there? You're gonna be
working.
Yeah,
I'm working.
I know. I'm being a dick.
No, yeah. So just can't wait, man. But like I said, we'll see what Joe has. I'm excited to see what he ends up doing. So
wait, before we move on, question for you.
Yep.
So game 1, right? It's Celtics are up. Second quarter, it's like 58-47, right? All of a sudden, Trae comes down, bang, bang, 2 threes. Does he call a timeout? What do you think? In that playoffs, you don't think he's calling a timeout?
Nope.
What about 3? What about 3?
So 3 in a row, yeah.
So after the second one, right? Tatum goes down, turns it over, or Brown turns it over, then down, bang, another 3. All of a sudden, it's a 3-point game. Timeout.
That's what you call a timeout. But I think 2 threes in a row, you don't overreact. Once again, it's Trae Young. Like, this is not, like he can, that can easily happen. And I would say I'm 97% sure the scenario you just put out there
is going to happen.
Fucking happen.
Yeah, of course it is.
It's going to happen. They'll be up by 10 or 11. Trae Young does it again. Celtics, like,
and they're down 3. Fucking love Mike Breen, bro. Makes the playoffs so much better.
It's just like, I don't know if it's or if Mark Jones. I love Mark Jones too. He's hiding in fish grease. So I don't want to hear any of those calls. If we're hearing that means, well, I want to hear these hiding in fish grease for the Celtics, obviously, but not for anybody in the opposing team. But yeah, that scenario you just mentioned will happen. But like I said, 2 threes in a row, you don't call a timeout. But like once it gets to 3, 4, once again, you're not letting a 14-0 run. Like the analogy I always bring up, it's funny. It was in Doc Rivers' final year here, and we ended up losing to the Knicks in 6 games. And
I remember the 19. Wasn't it 19-0?
20-0 run.
20.
Game 6, New York is smacking us. And it's kind of we know the writing's on the wall. We know the season's about to be over. And the Celtics go ballistic, like just it's unreal. Avery Bradley getting steals, Jeff Green getting steals. Like it was like an act of God in that moment. What was going on? So, you don't want those type of moments. Or you think about even back to the 90s when Reggie Miller was killing the Knicks. Pat Riley wasn't fucking around. As soon as Miller had got one, he's hot. Time out. Time out. So that's where it's kind of, I need something in between that, Joe. I need between Reggie Miller and then let him play it out. I need something in between that. So but yeah, that's totally happening now that you put it out there in the atmosphere. But like I said, go ahead.
I was gonna say one more hypothetical for you. So, do you have the same faith as we did last year in the Celtics team when they're down? I'm not sure if I do. I don't know if it's because I haven't seen it because they haven't been down at all this season. Because if they either win, when they win big usually, and if they lose, it's to a shitty team and they absolutely shit the bed in that game. That seems to be the dynamic trend of this Celtics season, right?
That's what was happening last year too. Like I felt like they, I remember the game against.
They were mopping the floor with teams. You're right. They were.
They were mopping the floor, but I mean, even that Brooklyn game too, right? Brooklyn is killing us in game 2. People forget that because they ended up winning the game, but they was smacking us. Kyrie was giving. I was there.
The buzzer beater. The buzzer beater. Yeah, that was the Kyrie supervillain game, wasn't it?
Right, and he was on
he's doing
but he was getting whatever he wanted.
Whatever. He was so fucking good in that.
Good,
game.
like we
he was so fucking good.
But I'm like, he was getting whatever he wanted. Marcus Smart was in the blender. They was in the everywhere. Everybody was on the group. Everyone was getting cooked, and all of a sudden, like I said, they're down 17. You're like, whoa, like what happened? And then they just chip away. And once again, now, having Brogdon, having White and Smart, I think I want to see a lineup with them all three at the same time. I think that would be phenomenal to see how they would defend. And you can have like Tatum be like a small 5 there, and it'd be Smart, Brogdon, Brown.
I have such a boner right now. I have such a good interaction right now. Let's go.
Yeah, that would be phenomenal to see.
It's our version of the death lineup, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
We can fucking run track meets on teams with that fucking lineup.
Oh yeah, don't know how they would rebound, but they would. Smart.
We wouldn't need to, bro. We wouldn't fucking need because we just been sprinting up and down the court the entire goddamn game. So, you don't need to rebound when you're shooting goddamn layups all fucking game.
That's true. So that's a lineup I would like to see, if possible. And once again, we may get that moment. in the playoffs, whether it's foul trouble or so much thing.
The only reason that worries me about it is the defense, and I'm going to keep coming back to it, man. That's why we knew they were never out of a fucking game last year.
Yeah.
That is why, bro. Every fucking time they would be down. I remember talking you off of ledges, bro, being like, they'd be down 18, and I'd be like, Rayshawn,
in a row, bro. And it was lost 2 in a row.
They never lost 2 in a row. Oh, I hope that happens again. That was so. Do you remember that? Every fucking.
I was gonna put it out. I was so bad.
But the defense, bro, was why we knew they were never out of games. Like, they could be down, whatever. We knew that they were gonna get stops at some point. We knew it was coming, and it was just a matter of scoring and taking advantage of those opportunities when they come.
Right. Exactly.
This team doesn't have. I hope they turn it on. I do, but they don't have that same fucking like you got no marbles feeling that they did last year.
That's true. That's true. There was a few games. I mean, granted, it's not the opponent.
It could come out right. It could. Listen, we could still see it. It could be there.
Not the game that they got smacked. I'm talking about OKC came here to Boston, and once again, Shea, SGA, and the rest of them were still giving us business. And Marcus Smart said, "Not tonight," and just went ballistic. Got about like 4 or 5 stops in a row. So it's like, I mean, granted, and I know that's OKC. I know they were probably motivated because of what happened, a few weeks prior to that. But I just think that we've seen different stints. And once again, yes, to say the defense didn't take a step back, you didn't watch this team. But once again, for them to be number 1 in defensive rebounding percentage, for them to
that is shocking. But it is shocking.
But I think they had such a big lead on it early in the year, though, even without Rob, which is wild. I think that's kind of what they just end up being.
I think that's just maybe it's PTSD. I don't know.
Say again.
I said maybe it's PTSD from past years because.
Oh no, for sure.
Because whenever we give up an offensive rebound, it goes down my spine. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh my god, no.
Yeah, I mean, it was once again we don't want that. We don't need any additional pain. Once again, it's gonna be enough pain watching a close game if possible. So, yeah. So like I said, they definitely took a step back defensively, but they just have to make sure that they sharpen a lot of things. That's why I'm glad Al said what he said, because Al knows how to hold them accountable. Like, you got to read it between the lines with Al, because he'll give you praise, but he was just like, yeah, defense was X, Y, and Z, but there's still room for improvement. There's still this. So, yeah, there's another gear. And once again, Al Horford was our best player many times in the playoffs last year.
That's a fact.
Like,
that's a goddamn fact, bro. That is a straight fact.
That game 4 in Milwaukee.
Oh, he was so fucking good in that game. Remember that stare? Oh,
yeah,
I can't wait for this.
I thought they were gonna call the offensive foul because of just how they ref Giannis. But man, I was like that. The N1, I've never seen him that animated ever in his career, even from Florida days. Like, I've never seen him that animated. And once again, because he is going to be 37 by the end of the playoffs, I urge you, Jason Tatum, I urge you, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Malcolm Brogdon, the list goes on and on. I urge you to have the urgency that Al Horford has.
Urge you to have the urgency.
I urge you to have the urgency. He understands the severity of the moment. That's why he was so good last year. Well, he actually his whole stint here in Boston, he's been excellent in the playoffs. Excellent.
Yeah. Even the Kyrie year.
Excellent.
He was the only one that showed up in that game. Game 5?
The game winner in Philly. Oh, that's the year before. But that was the year before in Cleveland. But no, I'm saying the game winner in Philly.
The turnaround, bro.
Yeah. So yeah, that was awesome. So it's like you remember those moments. The dunk that he had on not the dunk. I remember the end when he had on Tristan Thompson. Like, so he's had moments here in the postseason. He's always understood the severity of the moment, and I'm begging the rest of y'all on this Boston Celtics team to follow his lead, and go win one for him. He deserves to go out on top. He signed an extension, but he deserves to get one. Once again, he's a 2-time national champion. He's a 5-time All-Star. He's had a hell of a career. he deserves to get one before his career is over.
So that's a good segue. I'll do it for you. Is he your X factor? Not so let's expand this a little bit, because I think we know how this Atlanta series is going to go, right? We know if it doesn't go the way we want to go, there's a lot of changes and a lot of talk that we're going to have on this podcast moving forward. Let's put it that way. For the whole playoff run, right? Who's the X factor? Who besides Tatum and Brown? Because we know what we need from them, right? They got to combine for an average of 70. When we won't set the bar that they got to combine for an average of 60 to 65 points every night. Between the two of them, they got to score 60 to 65.
Yeah, just score
for us to win the finals, right?
Just get the average.
That's what they got to do. We know that.
Average, yeah.
Who is the guy that is going to bring this team a championship?
It's the guy we traded for in the offseason, Malcolm Brogdon. Like it's without a doubt.
Yep.
13 reasons, 13 whatever. Like this guy is, he's the model of consistency. I call him, Mr. President. He is the guy for me. He is the one guy off that second unit that can get a shot whenever he wants. He can get 30 whenever he wants. And he's gonna hit 85, 90% of his free throws, so he's not afraid of the moment there. And once again, when he's locked in defensively, he's as good as any two guard in the league defensively. So yeah, I think him, he not even, it's not by far, but I think he's the guy that I think of that has to be the difference. Once again, you were brought in to be the difference. Now go out there and do it.
Yeah. I was between two guys, and he was definitely one of them, because what he brings, man, is he allows Marcus to not be the focal point when Brogdon's out there of the offense. He doesn't have to run the offense. He's allowed to go be Marcus and do his thing and focus on the defense and not have to worry about, taking care of the ball, taking care of all this other stuff. I gotta say it's Rob. It's Rob, man. Like you said, what was the quote that you gave us?
Oh, no Rob, no ring.
No Rob, no ring. And I think that is so real that it scares me. It does. It really scares me, man, because for us to rely on such fragile knees in this playoff run, because we're not going to beat this version of Giannis doing what he's doing this year without a healthy Rob Williams. We're not going to beat. We might beat Philly without a healthy Rob because we dominate Philly, but it's going to be a lot harder to beat Philly without a dominant Rob. You look out west. We're not going to beat Jokic without a dominant Rob. We're not going to beat the Lakers without a dominant Rob. Stuffing the rim from LeBron. We're not going to beat any of these teams that are at the top of the NBA right now. Maybe Sacramento, because we could just get in a track race with them or a track meet. But like even Golden State, you saw what happened last year when Rob wasn't at 100%, and they could get offensive rebounds. They could get to the rim. Draymond was doing his thing. It all circles back to Robert Williams. We are not winning a championship without him playing that defense. It's not happening. You know what I mean? There's literally no feasible way that unless Mike Muscala and Grant Williams take such an astronomical leap in this playoffs, without a Robert Williams giving us at least 25 impactful minutes against those teams every night. It's not happening.
We saw it. Well, no, it wasn't the last year. I remember even 2 years ago against Brooklyn. Not last year, 2 years ago, right? The man had 9 blocks in the game.
That's what I mean. He can take that shit over. Take it over.
9 blocks. I said, whoa,
yeah.
Like that's insane.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, like that is something. But and I have to say this before we get into the prediction, which we've talked about already, but I just want to give it an official segment to it. But
I think we should do whole playoff predictions too.
Yeah, I love that y'all gave Derek White his flowers on a previous show.
Bro,
I had been banging the drum since he got here. I said I was premature with it, but I was like, he's gonna win us a series. I'm telling you guys, like he's not. He's not
Yeah,
the
you
star.
weren't premature. You were 100% right. He won the fucking series.
No, I'm saying, but I understand it from day one. And you guys like, I was like, no, like I'm telling you guys, like the guy I saw play in San Antonio, like I'm telling you, you're gonna love him. You just got give it time. Like he's gonna be the guy that he's not gonna be the best player, but he's gonna be almost consistent player, and that's exactly what he's been. He played all 82 games.
I feel like he needed
phenomenal.
time to stand out
Yeah.
apart from Smart. You know what I mean? He plays such a similar game to Marcus Smart that he felt pressure to like to be different than who he was because he needed to be a different kind of player than what Marcus was. But now with Brogdon, it separates them a little more, and they're allowed to both do their thing. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's great. Like I said, he blocks shots. He defends his position well. I think Dave talked about him being he needs to be all NBA, all defense.
Defense, yeah.
He might for sure. And wasn't it? He's just more comfortable, obviously. Like that's not debatable. So, let's just give our predictions for the series. I'll let you go with that first, and I'll give mine. I think you'll like where I go with mine. So, just for this series,
for just this series.
Yep.
Ball goes according to plan. It should be a sweep. If the only way is not, like we said, is if Trae has a Trae game. That's the only way this isn't a sweep, because we're such a better team, and we're put together in a way that should dominate this Atlanta Hawks team with our defense at the guard position, with our length and our speed and just athleticism at the 3 and the 4. And then with Al and Rob at the big, you know what I mean? Like, we should dominate Capella and Okongwu. So, like, we're literally built to dominate this specific type of team. So it should be a sweep. Worst case, 5. If it goes anything beyond 5, we're gonna have to have some talks about this playoff run and where it's going, in my opinion.
No, I mean for sure. I'm going with 5 because I think this series would be similar to once again we won a different end result because they lost in the finals that year. But when we faced Miami in 2010 and we beat Miami in 5, right? Smacked them the first 2 games at home. Paul Pierce hits the game winner in game 3. I remember watching it at Lucy Hall at Dean. Shout out to Dean.
Hey, Lucy Hall. That was a nice hall. You're in the good days,
exactly,
bro.
exactly.
You're in the good
watching
days.
in the lounge. Yeah, I was sitting there going crazy with my dominoes, watching him hit the game 3.
Bought with Boomer's Bucks.
There you go. I think Jaylen Brown hits the game winner in game 3. To put us up. Trae goes stupid in game 4. Atlanta wins game 4
in Atlanta, in the Atlanta atmosphere,
and then we run them out the building in game 5.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, that's how it goes down. We went 4-1. So, once again, it's an exciting time of the year.
Wait. No,
yeah,
it's first series, first round. I want to know, Rayshawn.
Okay.
Are we winning the fucking finals? Tell me right now. I want a prediction from you. Do you think this team? Do we have it?
We got it.
We got it, bro. Right? Is
put feet to the guts of your head, right? Like Mike says, guts of your head.
Right? I mean, so just think. This team is technically better than the squad we had last year, right?
Yeah.
What's not better about it? So
yeah.
So what do you think? Do we win?
Hey, listen, everyone knows that I've been crazy emotional. I haven't gone too crazy online lately. I'm just like I was waiting for this time of the year. But will I have other emotions throughout this playoffs? Absolutely, I'm going to. Everyone knows I'm going to go crazy. But yes, I do think in June, I'll be a part of the Garden Parade. I don't know if I'll be on the boat or not because I'm not getting in the water. But I will gladly be at TD. If they're hosting the trophy and doing something there. So yeah, I do think come June. They figure it out. Once again, it's been a run here. Losing to Cleveland, losing to Milwaukee, losing to Miami. Obviously losing to Golden State last year. The dues have been paid. This is year 7 for Jaylen. This is year 6 for JT.
7 for Jaylen. Wow.
Yeah. So I think that it's and if you're a number person, 7 is the year of completion.
7's the year, bro.
It was the year of completion. It's time to get the job done. See you in June.
I love it. Fucking love it. Because I couldn't be more with you, man. I'm in two camps where it's like, if things go the way the Celtics should play basketball, the only team that can beat them is the Bucks. That's the only team, in my opinion, that in a 7-game series can hang with this squad when they're playing the best basketball that they can play. So if they play that brand of basketball that we know and love, those drive kicks when they're flowing, when that ball is going across the 3-point line, when Marcus is drawing charges and Rob's blocking the shots at the like, when we see all these things coming to fruition that we know makes this team spin and be the Celtics that we love, I don't think there's a team in this NBA that can beat them. I really don't.
Yeah. Oh, right. No, that's fair. And I want to go a step further. I've said it before. I said it. I think I said it right after we did the show last year. I've said it throughout the season. I'll say it again since we made that prediction. I want to be clear. And like I said, Craig, you can do what you do with this. I want the rematch.
You want it? You want Golden State? You want them?
I said all year this was a 2014 Spurs redemption team. It's not a redemption if you don't face Golden State. Once again, it's okay. Cool. It's cool to face other teams and end up winning. Obviously, you won the championship. I want to beat them to win the championship.
I think we beat them in 5 this year.
Yeah, just like how San Antonio,
I think we beat them easy. Yeah.
Like just wipe them off the floor.
Yeah.
I just, to me, once again, we were better last year, but mentally they had the edge. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. This year it's like, okay, let's see. And once again, I want to be on the floor. Once again, for that story I told you, but what Draymond said, what he said to me, I want to be there. I need this to happen. That we're back on stage with them, with the confetti falling, and JT is saying St. Louis, this is for you. He's not gonna say Boston, he ain't from. He gonna say St. Louis, this is for you. and we're holding up the trophy. Is the trophy in one hand, Deuce is here, and I'm texting y'all in the group chat saying ball game banner 18.
And I'm saying, I told you, championship DNA, bro.
So that's how we're gonna end it. So with Real BK, Bob Kelly, I'm Hollywood Rashawn Buchanan. Until next time, we'll see you. Peace.
Hey, what's happening out there, everybody? This is Lawrence Ross, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about my podcast, The Lawrence Ross Show.
Egomaniac.
It's a 2-hour weekly exploration into my mind. I also do sketches, celebrity impersonations.
You're out of order!
And I also do song parodies. Not too shabby for a blind guy.
Not only are you visually impaired, but you are geographically impaired.
New episodes are released every Friday. Check it out on your favorite podcasting platform or listen to it here on Society 13 on Electrocast.
If you're a working professional wondering what's next for your career, you've come to the right place. Whether you're looking for a promotion, growth, or a potential career transition, look no further. With over 30 years working in a variety of industries, I share my insider knowledge with those ready to get ahead on Career Advancement with Craig Ansell. Tune in to get your strategies for success.
Electrocast.